felt nothing could affect me. Like I was beyond everything. People are saying she's a woman with the Midas touch. You know, everything that she touches works. And suddenly you're wondering what happened. I'm the same woman. What changed? There will be days when I can't give it my best. And that's okay. I can't kill myself to give my best. I'm a human being. It still felt extremely severe, Rachit. You know, I remember making headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I used to be heartbroken. I used to be devastated. I used to be so low on confidence.
But it never showed on camera with them. How was that?
You know, because I trust the camera more than anything else. I think the camera is my safe space. When I'm facing the camera, nothing else matters.
Hello everyone, welcome to E-Times, and today we've got Vidya Balan joining us. There are going to be a lot of conversations, of course her latest film Jalsa, but it's not just that, we're going to talk a lot more about her career. Hi Vidya, how are you?
I'm good, Rachit. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good as well. Vidya, there are so many films where you know, people say that, oh wow, Vidya was lovely, and you just said, you know, sometimes the film is not appreciated as much as Vidya Balan. So when that happens, I mean, how do you react to that?
No, I'm still very grateful that I'm receiving love for my work. But yes, it is not just the icing on the cake. It's the cake when the film is appreciated. Right? When everything about it, it's like Kahani. When Kahani happened, everyone loved everything about Kahani.
Right.
So it feels wonderful.
Right.
So I have to say that love in any form is welcome, and I'm always grateful for that love and appreciation. But you know, when the film is appreciated like this, it's different. The feeling is, yeah, it's wonderful, because also everyone on the team is happy then.
Yeah. That's true. So are you happy now with the kind of roles and with the kind of stories that come to you? Because, and the reason I ask this is because in, you know, your recent interviews, you did say that those earlier films like a Kismat Connection, I mean, perhaps you were a little lost, perhaps you were still finding your feet. Have you found your creative forte, and are you now happy with what filmmakers and storytellers bring to you?
I think I have been now for the past 14 years. You know, since Ishqiya happened to me, things have only been getting better. The kind of stories, the way the scripts are written, the storytelling, all of it has been evolving, has been getting better. And I keep saying, how can this get any better, you know? And yet, it only gets better. Look at also, if you generally see the women-led films, there's so much variety today.
Right.
Also, as an industry, I think as the entertainment industry, films, and whether theatrical or OTT, the content is so diverse. So I think it's a great time. And I personally, therefore, feel that the kind of stories I'm being offered are, the variety in them, the sheer variety sometimes stumps me, you know. They may be good or not so good scripts sometimes, but the fact is that people are thinking out of the box.
Right. Right. And if you go back with like, okay, you know, maybe you don't need to go back to Parinita, but even if you go back to say Ishqiya, to say Jalsa, how has your process as an actor changed? Or has it not changed?
No, I don't think it's changed. If anything, I think I tune in more to what I really want to do.
Okay.
You know, it's become more instinctive now, I feel, in terms of the process of decision making. In terms of the process of a film, that the film dictates it. Right. You know, depending on what all I'm required to do for the role as a character.
Okay. So this is obviously you're talking about your craft, but in terms of, say, you're also a veritable star. So does that sort of weigh in on the way you sort of approach a film or a character or a story? I mean, see, of course, you are a star. There are going to be expectations of you. So does that work on your mind?
No, yeah. Again, I feel blessed to be receiving so much love. It feels wonderful to know that people have expectations from me, but I don't allow that to become a pressure.
Mm-hmm.
The decisions have to be solely mine.
Okay.
They're not influenced by anything else. Because, for me to be able to commit myself completely to something, I have to believe in it completely.
Mm.
And that, I don't depend on anyone
Right.
for that decision.
Right.
Because then, whatever happens, I live with it. If it's my decision. If it's someone else's influenced by something else, then I'll be angry with them if it didn't work out.
True. But have you ever had your judgment sort of, doddering, teetering? Have you ever thought, oh shit, I went wrong?
Absolutely. I have in the past. And, I think whenever I've not paid heed to my instinct, I faltered.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that that equals failure, because I feel you always learn something and you grow, and failure is also very, very important. But I think over time, I've begun to pay more and more heed to my inner voice.
So over here, you're talking about the first reaction that you have once you hear the story, right?
Yeah, the first reaction. So the first reaction is no, doesn't matter who the director is or how good the script is. If it's a no, it's a no.
Right. So you've played.
Like with Jalsa, I'll tell you, It was a no, and I said no, and Suresh accepted it.
Okay.
But after that, when I revisited it, it was a yes, which is why I did it.
So what was the difference between the two times?
I think the fact that initially I felt like, oh my God, maybe Maya Menon is not the kind of woman who you would feel empathy for easily. Okay. Because she seems so independent, self-sufficient, almost aloof. Then a successful woman, you're slightly maybe intimidating, and she's done something that you judge. So I felt that maybe people won't have empathy for her. And that for me is very important as a human being, to have empathy for others. So if my characters don't get your empathy, then I'd be heartbroken. So which is why the first time around I said no. But then when the pandemic happened, I realized that, when someone is aloof, it doesn't make them a bad person. Similarly, you'll never know what you're going to do until you yourself are in that situation. So who the hell are you to decide what is right and wrong? True. I think that perspective gave me. So one day I was just chatting with Suresh and I said, what are you working on? And he said, I've I've worked on the script of Jalsa a little more. And I said, I'd love to hear it. And he was like, what? I said, yeah, I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm just saying I want to reread it. Because I knew I was feeling differently in my mind, Right. Something had opened up. I was ready for it.
Those are those creative instincts that you have.
Yeah, I guess.
So we've spoken about rejection in some form. You've obviously rejected the Jalsa script for the first time. Of course, in your career, Vidya, you must have also faced rejections, whether they were in the initial phase of your career. How were those feelings? And now that you look back at those rejections, how do you feel about them today?
I think each one of them is invaluable. Is all those rejections contributed to who I am today, to where I am today. Made the fire a raging one.
Right.
The fire to do what I want to do and to do it my way. So I think I'm very grateful for those rejections today. Of course, at that point, I didn't know. This is in retrospect. At that point, I was angry and I was low on confidence and I was angry, most importantly.
Okay.
But today, in retrospect, I realized that all of that was so important. It made me It's made me who I am. It's made me the actor I am also.
Does that anger or that experience, how does it change you? Does it make you more thick-skinned, or does it make you more sensitive, or it's something else?
I've never been able to develop a thick skin actually. So I get overly sensitive, which is why I think I decided to shut out the noise. I started paying heed to my inner voice because I was getting confused with all the noise around me. It was wailing me, I just didn't know what it is that I want anymore.
Right.
So because with rejection, you begin to look at yourself differently and you feel that, no, maybe if you fix this, then, you'll gain acceptance or you'll get work or you'll be likable or whatever it is in that given context. And then you realize there's no end to trying to tailor yourself according to people's expectations. But you'll never be able to do that. Because there'll be times when 2 people out of 10 like you, and there'll be times when 10 out of 10 like you. And there'll be times when 0 out of 10 like you. You have to like yourself.
True.
So I think I realized that the rejection was also a reflection of me rejecting me in some way. Because I thought I wasn't good enough for those opportunities.
So how do you get rid of
self-doubt?
How do you get rid of self-doubt?
No, I think self-doubt is very natural. And I think previously doubt used to shake my confidence. Now it doesn't. Only because with experience, you realize that, when things don't work out the way you want them to, does not change who you are or what you're capable of. There are many variables at play. So, but all this comes with experience, Rachit. When you're going through it, you have to go through it. And that's what gives you the wisdom and the maturity later in life. But it's tough. Then you go through it. It's bloody tough.
Right.
Yeah. I remember being shattered sometimes. Feeling like, what am I going to do? Where is my life going? But there was this fire that I was not able to put out. There was this raging fire in the belly that I wanted to be an actor. And even when I went to sleep crying, the next morning I would wake up with renewed hope, saying, okay, it's another day. Maybe it holds there's hope. Right. There's new promise of something better.
Right. So when Pa, Ishqiya, Kahani, the dirty picture, when they happened, how did it feel? Did it feel like finally, vindication?
Absolutely. It felt like I felt like nothing could affect me. Like I was beyond everything. Like maybe a little bit of invincibility. Wow. Which is why when conjecture didn't work after that, I think it delivered a deep, deep blow because I couldn't believe that something had not worked. Because suddenly, people are saying she's a woman with the Midas touch. And, everything that she touches works. And suddenly you're wondering what happened. I'm the same woman. What changed?
Yeah.
But obviously something changed because I think I had begun to look at box office numbers and chase that after the dirty picture and Kahani. Because this was something I tasted blood, right? And now I wanted a repetition of that. And, then a series of 7 of my films didn't work in quick succession. And that made me realize that I'm only here to do what I love doing. And as long as I have that, I'll be happy. Some films will work, some won't work. I, of course, hope that every film works and works beautifully. But, life is about those ups and downs, and hopefully, as long as I enjoy the experience and the process, and I don't question myself for those things, like, I try and do my best every single time, right? But there are days when I don't give it my best. And today I've even come to accept that there will be days when I can't give it my best. And that's okay. I can't kill myself to give my best. I'm a human being.
True. So through all these ups and downs, Vidya, how does Sidharth fit in? I mean, obviously he's your life partner. He must be giving you advice. You must be asking for his advice because he's also from the profession. He understands the nitty-gritties. So how does that sort of equation fall out?
Firstly, I have to say that he's the most patient listener I've come across in my life. And a lot of times he just helps me. He doesn't advise. Okay. He'll never tell me do this, do that. He just hears me out. And what happens with that is, through that process, I develop clarity. But, he is truly a partner. I feel very, very blessed because he accepts me the way I am, on my good and bad days. And that is now we've been married for close to 10 years. In December, it'll be 10 years. And that's what I think I've come to realize, that, I now appreciate marriage for what it is. I'm not saying every marriage is like this, or I don't know how every marriage is. But previously I used to wonder whether you're living in or married, it doesn't matter, right? But I can say my experience of marriage, touch wood, is a good one so far, because he's truly a partner.
Right. And you guys have managed to keep your marriage quite private in that respect, So has that been a conscious
Both
effort?
of us are private people, Rachit. Both of us are private people. So the fact that I'm an actor doesn't change that. Like, I don't feel compelled to put out pictures of us. I don't even put out pictures of myself unless it's work related. Right. I am actually, as Vidya, I'm a very shy person. And if the actor is Vidya Balan, then Vidya Balan is not. But Vidya is.
Right. Yeah, this is a very similar theme. I mean, a couple of months ago when I was having a conversation with Deepika for Gehraiyan, she said the same thing. She's like, most actors are very, very shy. And it's just that people don't realize that.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. And some people, I think I've masked it with my laughter for years. Because I would be so like, when I didn't know what to do, I would laugh. But yes, I think I am a very, maybe shy is not the right word. I'm a very private person. Okay, I'll rephrase it. I'm not shy. I am very private.
Right. Now coming back to films for a moment, Vidya. See, as you said, you were used to box office figures, and that's a very easy measure of success, not just for you, for your audience as well. But now with this transition to OTT, we don't have a metric. We are not able to say, oh, this film has earned 100 crores. So now how do you as an actor measure success? Is it about reactions?
I anyway stopped chasing the numbers. At some point, I think it was around 2016, 15, 16, when I stopped chasing the numbers. So I've not really, when people say, oh, how much do you think it'll do on the weekend? I'm like, I don't know. I've done my best on the film. I'm doing my best to promote it now, and that's it. Now it does what it does, right? That takes off the pressure anyway. But the nervousness is always there because you want people to watch your film and like it. So that nervousness is there. Yes, I don't have a metric by which to measure, but we get to know from Amazon because they have a metric. They don't share it with you. And they are very happy with the 3 films we put out on Amazon Prime Video.
Right.
Shakuntala, Sherni, and now Jalsa. And Jalsa is number 1 on Amazon Prime Video. So, it's a different yardstick. So you measure it by that. The fact that it's gone up to number 1 on Amazon Prime Video. And you can't measure it by the number of tickets sold, but they have number of views or the new memberships that they get. So there's always a measure. It's just that this measure is not made available to us. And as long as you get the same number of messages as you did for a theatrical, you know.
Right.
But the good thing, it's now 2 weeks since Jalsa released. People are still messaging me, Rachit.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. That's great.
Nice. So, going to your personal life a little, what does the ideal day in the life of Vidya Balan at home look like when she's not working, when she's not busy receiving messages from people? What does she do? What does the average day in Vidya Balan's life look like?
I wake up by 8:30. I do my yoga or a walk, depending on which day of the week it is. Then I have breakfast and then I chill. I speak to my family. Then I bathe. I do my prayers. Let's see. There's pretty much, it's organized still here. Then I either go and meet my parents, my niece and nephew, or then I sit and watch something at home or read something at home. And then evenings are spent with Sidharth, if he's free. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it's really very simple.
Nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy. And I also do a lot of cleaning around the house. I find it therapeutic. So I do indulge in that a lot when I'm free.
Okay. Great. Vidya, another question. I know, I mean, in the past you've said it's, you've expressed your opinion on pay disparity. And you've said it's not fair to compare, male-centric films to female-centric films. But do you feel that that bridge is now closing?
Oh, for sure. No, if you see absolute figures, it's nowhere close to closing, right? But if you measure if you compare just in terms of the ratio of the actors' fees to the overall budget of the film, it is pretty much in the same. But our budgets are much smaller. No?
True.
So there's no comparison in terms of absolute numbers. But hopefully with more female-led films doing better, we'll get bigger budgets and we'll make more money.
Right.
And bigger budgets will also mean that our films get distributed to more theaters across the country. If it's a theatrical release, which means it has the scope of being a bigger success.
Right.
And then of course we'll get bigger budgets for the next film and all of that. It's a cycle, but I definitely think we're in a much better place today.
Are you relieved now, Vidya, that people have stopped, commenting about your weight, your fashion, and the fact, people even used to create conjecture about your motherhood, but that all has stopped. Yeah, that all has stopped completely. So are you sort of relieved that, now you've that stardom and that celebrity has sort of settled down?
I think that stopped affecting me and therefore people stopped commenting.
So is it about, when you sort of stop reacting to it, does that...
Yeah, it stopped affecting me. And therefore, I wouldn't even have an internal reaction, leave alone an external one. So people just realized, I think people pick up on energies, and they realize it's pointless.
Right.
I'm happy with myself. So if you have a problem with me, it's your problem.
Right. But you went through all of this even before the phase of, now we live in the phase of trolling. It's so common that a lot of people just get trolled. Somebody will wear a bold outfit, they'll get trolled. But you sort of faced this way before even social media had become a year. So even in that respect, you've sort of been a pioneer.
That's a first. Okay. I think, it was, it still felt extremely severe, Rachit. I remember making headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I used to be heartbroken. I used to be devastated. I used to be so low on confidence. I didn't know how to hold my hand, when I was going for appearances, whether to have my hands by my side, whether to hold my hand like this, whether to put it on my waist. I was always so scared of what I might get picked on for. Picked on for.
Yeah. And yet it never showed on camera, Vidya. How was that?
Because I trust the camera more than anything else. I think the camera is my safe space, which is why I think when I'm facing the camera, nothing else matters.
Okay. Nice. And one final
It's just the camera and me,
Right. Right. One final question, Vidya. I know, we've just proved you're very comfortable in front of the camera, but eventually, where do you see yourself going? I don't want your acting career to, fade or wane or any of that, but people evolve.
Thank you.
People evolve, actors become directors, they become producers. So what is Vidya Balan looking at? How will she evolve? What sort of roles will you play in the future?
I don't know, Rachit. Let life surprise me, As of now, I don't see myself directing or producing. I think I enjoy being in front of the camera. But like you said, maybe never say never, but I don't know. I'm happy being where I am now, in front of the camera.
Okay.
My closest confidant.
All right. Thank you so much, Vidya. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rachit. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Same here.